Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode Just Playing. This is the NBA Draft Reaction. 2026 draft has taken place. We are here. We have the picks. I am your co-host, Reggie.
I'm your co-host Norwood, and this is where the fun actually begins. We've made the additions. Some of you have made some subtractions. Adios, I see it, Stuart.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, how are we going to do this? We are going to go through the lottery, just the lottery, and in terms of kind of going into in-depth breakdown, and then we'll talk about the rest of the picks kind of all jumbled together, except for, of course, we're going to watch the Hawks. We're going to talk about the Hawks in depth. So I have who was here, who was picked first. I'm sorry, who was picked. And before we start, I'm going to ask you. No, I guess we're starting now. I'm going to ask you. The top four was AJ DeBansa, Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, Caleb Wilson. Those were the top four in order from Wizards, Jazz, Memphis, Chicago. AJ DeBansa to Washington, Darren Peterson to Utah, Cameron Boozer to Memphis, Caleb Wilson to Chicago. There were zero shockers here. All of that speculation between DeBansa and Peterson, all of the late momentum of Boozer. Oh, you think there were some shockers there?
I really thought that the Wizards were going to go after Peterson. I think that them going after AJ DeBansa was a surprise, knowing that AJ DeBansa had so many ties to Utah, and Darren Peterson potentially being so good. I thought that the Wizards were going to just. I thought that there was going to be a trade, but I thought that everybody was going to get what they wanted.
I thought they were going to pair him with Trey. Oh, kind of fell back, but we're good. I thought they were going to pair him with Trey, and I thought that AJ DeBansa was. I just knew he was going to find his way to Utah because one of all of that investment, and then two, I mean, all of that investment from him moving him from Connecticut to Utah. They had a grand plan that they almost flawlessly executed. I thought that he was going to end up in Utah. How do you feel about this? So how do you feel about each player's pick, and do you think they will be who is going to have the most immediate impact between the DeBansa, Peterson, Boozer, and Wilson? And who do you think is the best based on situation?
Whoa, slow down, brother. Number one. AJ DeBansa, I honestly think that the better situation for him was actually Utah. And I think the better situation for Darren Peterson was Washington. I feel like AJ DeBansa could have been like Keontae George is really good last year, but he doesn't have enough cachet in the NBA to say, all right, well, I demand the ball. I have to have the ball, and I'll give you the ball kind of whatever. With a player as good as AJ DeBansa, he kind of you change your game plan and your team structure. Darren Peterson, I think he has the ability to play both on the ball and off the ball. And I felt like him and Trey together as a backcourt, number one, him being a good defender, he could have been the point of attack defender. And just all the inertia that comes with Trey, the gravity that comes with Trey, Darren Peterson was going to be able to get some relatively decent matchups, playing off the ball, shoot more open. And if they do, as many times they do try to trap Trey, having another guy who's kind of a de facto point guard allows you to continue to run the offense in a manner where you can still be sustainable. So I think that, decisions happen, things happen, but I don't think that these are the best perfect fits for each team. They're also talking about that means Ace Bailey to the bench, which changes things. I think that Boozer is the guy who has the opportunity to come in and make the most waves and impressions. We just got a notification here not that long ago that Josh still disgruntled and probably has already played his last game in Memphis. For me, that means that Boozer is probably going to be I'm not sure if he's the key to what Memphis does offensively, but he's going to get a lot of shots. And I think he has a good opportunity to average 20 and 10, which puts him, first team all rookie, all of those things, because he's going to have really good counting stats.
Yeah, I agree with the Boozer thing. I think Boozer is going to be able to be featured a little bit more on offense. AJ Debanta is very ball dominant when it comes
It can't be now.
That's how his style is. But now he's got Trey, and Trey is ball dominant.
$53 million Trey.
Right. He did sign that contract extension, who many people think. I guess how you feel about that extension? I think we talked about it. Where's contract?
Ask Brian Windhorst how he feels about it.
I mean, it could be. I mean, there's another one we'll talk about at the end of the first round. His college buddy. I ain't in love with that Austin Reeves signing either. But I think Cameron Boozer has the opportunity to come in, especially offensively, playing next to Zach Edey. Edey is so limited offensively, and it'll allow Boozer to play a little bit more free and be kind of a playmaker, because everybody raves about his IQ and his passing ability and all of those things. Darren Peterson, I think Caleb Wilson probably is going to be the better of the four. Has the opportunity to make more of it. I don't know. I like Caleb Wilson the best. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be the better of the four. I had to catch myself.
I don't think that the reason I think that Caleb Wilson goes into the safest situation. He doesn't have a ton of expectation. You have a guy who's been a very solid facilitator in Josh Giddey. You also have Dalen Swain, who can dribble the ball. You're going to have Buzelis at the 3, and potentially Dalen Swain probably coming off the bench. You're probably going to have an Anthony Simons or somebody at the 2 who's also a scorer. You're going to have Buzelis, who's also.
They're talking about Anthony Simons going to Miami.
Somewhere. I mean, whatever Miami pays him, I'd rather pay him. But we're a better team. But outside of that, like, there's going to be a guy in that 2 spot that I think is going to be able to score, and he's going to have more experience, so he's probably going to get the ball more. And then you have Claxton on the back end, who's a good rim protector. So I think that
I forgot they got Claxton. He's been cooking.
yes. Bryson Graham. I've tried to tell Bulls fans over the weekend, you got a guy who knows what the hell he's doing. And the other part about this team is, what is Josh Giddey? 6'7", 6'8". Swain is 6'7". Buzelis is 6'8", 6'9". Caleb Wilson is 6'10", and then Claxton Sykes is 6'11". They may not be the greatest defenders, but at least they're tall enough where I can stand in the way. I think that helps them out. This is a team that I think you should be on the watch for turning the corner. They're kind of them, and Utah are my early. Utah, Chicago, and Charlotte are my early surprisers for people.
So you think that Washington and Utah, which we both think kind of should have broke the mold, and Peterson should have gone first, but
I think that Washington ultimately doesn't have a true strategy. You got this fold of Anthony Davis and Trae Young, who, if you put those 2 guys together, they're trying to win now. Then you have a bunch of young players who are trying to figure out how to fit in. I don't think you can serve 2 masters, and that puts me in a very confusing place on expectations, what they're trying to do, and how they're going to do it.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm not going to. I'm trying not to buy into the hype of the Darren Peterson is the best. I think AJ Debance is probably the more dynamic. I don't know who's going to has the true highest ceiling. Caleb Wilson seems like he's going to make a more of a meaningful impact early based on the makeup of that team. I think AJ Debance is going to have to find his role. I think him finding his role on the Wizards will be a little bit more. Finding his role and working his way into the rotation of, I know he's starting, but like it right now, you got to assume Sarr and AD are going to be there till told otherwise. So now it's Trey, Sarr, and AD who all believe that they deserve touches. And then you bring in Debanta, and then you have all the role players. So you're gonna have to figure out Trey, who just newly minted Trey. You're gonna have to figure out how to get all of them touches and involved while playing your style of game.
Who's the leader of this team?
Which is gonna have to be Trey. There's nobody else to be the leader.
Anthony Davis.
Nobody
future Hall
believes
of Fame.
AD is a leader.
Well, number one, he expects an extension. He's a champion and a future Hall of Famer.
What do that mean? There's plenty of champions who are not leaders.
For the listener, what I'm trying to put together here is seems like a lot of moving pieces, and everybody has their own personal agenda. And I'm not sure how this works together because you got AJ Debanta, who he ain't got no shortage of confidence, and he needs the ball in order to be his best self. He's not an off the ball player, and we've never seen Trey be off the ball for any amount of time. And who's coaching in Washington? Do they have the cachet to tell anybody what to do?
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to come in there and you kind of drop your nuts on the table. Like, hey, this has been terrible for a long time. This is how we
can't drop your nuts on the table, and you just gave Trey $212 million for the next 4 years. Here go my nuts, all 212 of them.
Well, then Trey, you can't get traded to Washington and coaches continue to get fired.
Why not? I've already gotten paid.
That's right now he's teetering on that stigma, and the change of scenery kind of not resets it, but holds that stigma at bay of being a coach killer. If Trey gets people fired at Washington after they're trying to build around him, he will be a coach killer. There's nothing that you could change that.
Yeah, and I've also made $400 million. Well,
yeah, I mean, you've made your money, but I mean, I'm more talking about legacy. Like it will, everything that they have talked about after the finals run, people will say, oh, it's actually it was your fault.
Well, right? But my counter to that is it's Washington. They don't really have an expectation in the first place. First of all, we don't even remember who the coach is. And did you really think that when he took the job, he wasn't going to get fired like all the rest of the Washington coaches since ever? You can't blame me for something that's inevitable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't say that because you can say that for literally every coach. Every franchise.
Yes and no.
Like,
what I'm saying is
it's more franchises that have frequent turnover at coach than there are that have the mainstay.
Right, but Washington has never had a guy.
Nope. But I mean, you can say that about Philly.
No, they had Larry Brown, they had Brett, they had
Larry Brown. Okay, Allen Iverson. Yeah, I was thinking more recent.
I'm saying Washington ain't never had a guy. I can't even tell you who the best coach in Washington Wizards history. I assume somebody with the Bullets.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely those Chris Webber. Might have been. Is it Bickerstaff's dad? Is that it? That's a good question. That's a good trivia question. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right. You're right. But something got to change. Somebody got to change some type of culture sometime. Like, you can't, like, hey, man, what were the Spurs before the Spurs? Yeah, George Gervin, and then George Gervin. And then you were bad for a long time, and then you got Admiral. And you need a Popovich to change the culture a little bit.
Yeah, but also looking at what the little bit that we've discussed so far, does it look like the culture is suddenly changing? Or is it more the same?
Ain't he new? Ain't this the first year?
Yeah, but the culture hasn't changed. It's just a new face doing the same thing.
Well, you need the new face to change the culture. Didn't they? I mean, That's how I look at it. But I mean, I ain't
Best
gonna
of
write him
luck.
off. I just don't know who he is.
I'm sorry to you if that happened to you. Whatever you need to hear. I just think the Wizards don't seem to have a game plan here, and I didn't think the Jalen Brunson could win a championship, so I'd be wrong.
Boy said Flip Saunders. I forgot about Flip. You right. So for the first four, nothing out of the ordinary. Then we get to, I call this the guard rush. 5 through 10, you had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the next 6 picks were guards. Keaton Weigler to the Clippers, Michael Brown Jr. to the Nets, Darius Acuff to the Kings, Kingston Flemings to the Hawks. Then you had a big Morris Johnson Jr. to the Mavericks, and Braden Burries to the Bucks. Out of these 4, what stood out to you the most, or who stood out to you the most out of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks?
To me, number 1, Dusty May going to get Morris Johnson makes him a big winner. It's a guy he's familiar with. I think that he clearly, to me, that says something. And I know this is kind of unfair, but it is. It's not. Also, says something to me more about Yaxel and Mara. I think that they're both good, but clearly Dusty May knew who was the best, and it's Morris Johnson.
Yeah, for the NBA, yeah.
I mean, and I'm not even saying for the NBA. For this team, he picked Morris Johnson. Yaxel was there, and Mara was there too. And for him to take Morris says it. There's not a guy who spent more time recently with all 3 of these guys. So I'm going to lean into his expertise and believe that he knows something that we don't. As far as the Clippers, I was relatively disappointed. And maybe there was just nobody there to trade. But Keaton Weigler, I don't understand what they're trying to do either. Are you trying to win now? If you're trying to win now, you should have traded back and got more younger players to kind of put around. Or
they got young players though, don't they?
Yeah, but you don't have enough to be good. You needed 2 more legitimate players, I think, versus one guy who physically is not there yet, and you already got a relatively small in size point guard who doesn't have the physical capabilities.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. We may have to sign off and sign back on. We will come back for segment 2 and 3, which will be the guard rush as well as the lottery closing with 11 through 14. And then we'll talk about our Hawks in depth. And then after we talk about the Hawks in depth, we'll wrap it up.